On last week's TK Friday video, I asked if you would like to see a hidden features video, hidden features found in the TK8 plugin for Photoshop, and I had an overwhelming response for that. So this week, I'm going to show you part one of a hidden features video, and then next week I'll follow it up with part two. So sit back, relax, stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Thank you for joining me again on yet another TK Friday. We're in a new year right now, so a lot of TK Friday videos will be coming your way. I really appreciate each and every one of you out there, and I thank you for all the comments, questions, and encouragement. A special thanks also to all of you that have sent me images to edit, and I have a bunch of those that are ready for future TK Friday tutorials. If you want to submit an image to me that we can work with on a TK Friday, I'll have a contact link in the description below this video where you can contact me and we could set that up. And for today's episode, I do have PDF notes. Now, these will be great for your reference. You know, when you want to, you might have forgot something that you can do, a hidden feature, so you can go back and look through these notes, and there'll be a wealth of information here for you to access. So don't forget to download those PDF notes. Now you're going to find those in the description below this video. You have to open up that show more or more button to see them, because a lot of people don't find them. They say they're not there. You have to hit the more or show more to see them. By the way, if you don't yet own the TK8 plugin for Photoshop, you can click on my affiliate link found in the description below this video. Just click on that link. It'll take you to the TK web store where you can purchase the TK8 plugin for Photoshop along with training videos. And if you use my promo code DK15, you'll save 15% off your entire purchase. And when you do that, you're supporting the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. And for that, I truly thank you. Well, now it's time for those hidden features, and those features are not hidden just to be hidden. Where does Tony put all this stuff? You know, some things have to be hidden just because you just don't have places to put everything, so he builds these features into the panel. But I'm here to tell you how to access these features. I'll start with hidden features that are hidden, like kind of right out in the open. They're not really hidden, but we don't think about them sometimes. And so I'm going to show you some of that kind of stuff right off the bat. Now, we often work with luminosity masks, zone masks, color mask, saturation and vibrance masks, and occasionally the edge masks. We work with my channels, the layer mask mode button, editing selections. But this one right here, and I glossed over it, is a very good one, and it's a hidden one that's right out in the open. And let's say this one is called the color luminosity mask. It lets you deal with the luminosity values of individual colors. Let's see how it works. Now, I have this image with basically just a couple colors, you know, like we got some blues, cyans, and some orange, some warm tones here. So I think it will work really well on this type of an image. Now, this mask works exceptionally well when you have images with defined colors or a lot of colors and things of that nature. Let's take a look at my PDF note. This is a Lights 1 luminosity mask that switches to being a color mask. It doesn't affect black, white, and gray, but any colored element can be adjusted. So this method works well with colorful images. Well, let's check it out. Let's click on the luminosity mask button first, and we're greeted with a Lights 1 mask. Now we can output that to a pixel layer if we click this button right here, and we can see that mask. Now I'm going to shut it off. Now let's click here for the color luminosity mask. So we're going to click, and there we see that's a Lights 1 luminosity mask. Let's output that as a pixel layer. So let's shut it off. Let's look at the one we made with Lights 1. And now we'll see the one we made with the color luminosity mask. It's very close to the Lights 1 mask. If the black and white adjustment sliders were centered, it would have been the same. We don't need these pixel layers. Let's get rid of them. Let's use the handy trash can. Don't you love the trash can? Click it, the layer goes away. Click it again, the other layer goes away. And now we just have the background layer. Let's see how we can work with this color luminosity mask. Let's turn it on. Let's click this button. And you notice we have a black and white adjustment layer. Now remember, these adjustments are only dealing with the luminosity values of the colors, and it will not affect black, gray, or white. If I wanted to target the water here, now this is a handy button too, the double arrow button. If we click it, we can see the image. So we can see we have blues in here, and we have some warm orange tones in here. So basically a couple colors. Let's click this button again. We can see the mask. Now, if I want to work on the water, I'm sure we have some cyan and blue in there. So if we turn up, let's start with cyan. Let's move it to the right. We'll start to lighten the cyan tones. Now, if we move it to the left, we'll darken the cyan tones. So depending what you want to adjust. Now, remember in a layer mask, white reveals, so I definitely want to make this lighter because I just want to target the water. I'm going to see how well I can target the water with this mask. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it the whole way to the right. And we also have blue in here, I'm sure. So if I move this to the right, any blue tones in there will start to lighten up. And I'm going to take that up a good bit too. I'm going to stop here. Now we have warm tones in here. Let's click the double arrow again so you can see these warm tones. So we can affect those as well. So we're going to have yellows and maybe reds there. Let's start out with reds. Let's take our reds. We want to darken those and get those out of the mask as much as we can. So let's take that the whole way to the left. And now we're going to work with yellows, and let's see if we can draw those darker by moving this to the left. And I'm going to take it the whole way to the left. But you notice it's not touching grays or pure blacks or whites. But we have a pretty nice mask here, and we could play with green and see if what green's doing there. It's not doing too much. And I wouldn't think magenta would be doing much either. So we're just going to leave that just where it is. Now we can also refine the mask further. We could use a levels adjustment or a curves adjustment. I prefer levels, but to each his own. For instance, if I click on levels, I could go ahead and take the midtone slider, move it to the left, and just lighten that up. But now I'm getting this area up here. It's getting a little light up there as well. Now I could counteract that by taking the shadow slider and moving it to the right. Maybe I'll do that just like that. I think that is good. Now let's output it. Let's just work with the color. Let's output it to a hue saturation adjustment layer. Now again, let's take a look at our mask. If you ever want to see what your mask looks like, just click this double arrow button right here and you could take a look at your mask. If I would have used the color mask, this would have probably been all dark. Let me go ahead and click this again. And let's do that just to show the difference. Let me shut this layer off. Let's click the color mask button and let's target the blue tones in the water. Click OK. And let's lighten that up with this brightness slider. And we could work with these sliders up here just to get a little bit more into the mask. Okay, maybe right there. And of course, I can use levels again and lighten up the midtone section, something like that. But you notice, see, that's all black. That's all gone away up there. So it's a different type of a mask. And it's going to give us similar results, to be honest. And we'll check it out. We'll try both masks out. Let's output this to a hue saturation adjustment layer. So there's our color mask. Now let's go ahead and shut it off. Let's come back and make this layer active and turn it on. And let's make an adjustment. And let's compare the two. By the way, this first hidden feature is a little longer. The rest of the hidden features will be a lot shorter. But I felt I needed to go into a bit of detail about this color luminosity mask because we haven't really worked with it yet, I don't think. This is the color luminosity mask we're working on. We're working on the water, and so we can go ahead and let's give it a little bit more saturation. We can work with its hue a little bit and see what we want here in terms of hue. And we can lighten it up or darken it up, whatever we want. Maybe I'll just lighten it up just a little bit. We can also come in here into master, and we know we have cyans in here. And we can maybe increase that cyan a little bit more and maybe the lightness of the cyan. And let's try blues. And we can give that maybe a little more saturation or less saturation, maybe a little less. And let's see, do we want to lighten it, darken it? Maybe right about there. Now you can use this targeted adjustment tool too to pick the color that's there. But I know there's blue and cyan, so I didn't do that. So here's the before and here's the after, and it does a really nice job of targeting that water. Now let's check out the layer that I made with the color mask. So let me shut this layer off, make this layer active, and turn it on. And now let's play with this. I'm going to work with the overall saturation, maybe just bring that up a little bit. This adjustment won't be the same as before because, every time you adjust, you see things a little differently sometimes. But Let's go with the hue and just play with the hue a little bit, maybe something like that. Now we can work with the lightness, lighten it up a little bit. We can go again, work with cyans, maybe give those a little bit more saturation and maybe lighten that up a little bit. And we could play with the hue if we wanted to, but let's just go right to blues next. And maybe I'll pull the blue back a little bit, maybe lighten it up just somewhat like that. And we could play with the hue if we wanted to, but I'm going to leave it at that. So here is the before and here's the after. So this is a color mask and this is a color luminosity mask. So we can get very similar results, but which is the right one to use? I generally work with the color mask, but this is a very good option as well. You know, there's many ways of doing things in Photoshop, and sometimes you might get a better result. So sometimes it pays to try both methods out. And one more time, this is the color luminosity mask, and this is the color mask. I think I'll use the color luminosity mask. I'll turn it on, and this layer's active. I'll click on the trash can and get rid of it. And now let's move on to our next hidden feature, and these are going to go a lot faster. The next hidden feature out in the open is the TK button on the multi-mask panel, the combo panel, and the CX panel. So if you click on TK, you get to preferences where you can do a bunch of different things like hide tooltips, show selection indicators, and so on and so forth. You can do a lot here. But each one of these, if you click on the TK button, you're going to get the preferences. And now let's do the CX panel, and the TK button is right here. Click the X, and you go back, click the X, and it also tells you the version of the TK8 plugin for Photoshop that you're working with. So I'm working with 1.2.2. I'll click this X and close that. So that was the second hidden feature. Now this next hidden feature is a really good one, and I think you'll like it, especially if you like to use actions. Now you may be wondering, Dave, why the heck do you have the CX panel open and a combo panel? Isn't that a little bit of an overkill? Well, it could be, but check it out. I'm going to show you why I have it. Let's open up the preferences of the CX panel. So I'll click on the TK. Now you'll notice right now it says close TK and it's checked. And you may say, well, what is that? Let me X out here and I'll show you what that is. If you open up an action and you run an action, say like we run the Orton effect on here, I'll just click OK. So there's the Orton effect. And it's really strong, so, you know, I could put a mask on there, but this is not about that. I'm just going to pull this back. So I just add a little bit of that Orton effect on there. Now, after I ran the action, we now see the CX panel again. But if we come up here and open up the preferences by clicking on TK, and we uncheck this, let's X out of here. And now let's go ahead and click on the TK Actions button, and now let's run another action. And how about Soft Pop? Let's click on that. And we run that Soft Pop action, and I'll just pull it back a little bit because it's a bit strong there. But again, this is not an editing tutorial. But you notice something different happened. The Actions panel stayed open. It did not get closed. That's because we unchecked the Close TK. What we can do then is work off the Combo panel and then have an action TK Actions panel on the CX panel, or vice versa. If you click on TK on the combo panel, you'll notice you have that same close TK checkbox. So whichever one you want to work from, it's your decision. But let me know in the comments section below what you think. Do you think this is a great feature? I think it is. I'd really like to know your thoughts. It takes up a little more real estate having both panels open, but if you have a larger monitor, it might be something you may want to do. The next hidden feature is dealing with tooltips. Now, tooltips are great, especially when you first get the TK8 plugin for Photoshop. You can hover over all the different buttons on all the panels and get tooltips. The only panel without tooltips is the TK8 My Actions panel. But other than that, you can, even if you open up actions, you can get tooltips for all the actions. But after you get a little more seasoned with the TK8 plugin for Photoshop, the tooltips can get a little bit annoying, but you can shut them off, and let me show you how. Let's start with the CX panel. Now, right now I have the actions up, so we need to X out of here and just come up to TK and see where it says Show Tooltips, just uncheck it. And now there's no tooltips. Now, on each one of the panels, you can either have the tooltips on or off. So on the combo panel, click the TK button, uncheck Show Tooltips, and now they're off. And as well as the multi-mask panel, click on TK, come to Preferences, and uncheck Show Tooltips. So in other words, you may want tooltips on this panel, but not this panel. You can do that. Later on, I'll get into how you can access them after you've shut them off, but be patient. Now, the next tip I want to talk about are buttons that have color to them. And most of these buttons are color-coded. In other words, see how these buttons are yellow, these are blue, these are like purple. You can alter the way these buttons look, and what I mean by that is you can make them more saturated. Right now, they're as saturated as they can get, so they stick out. You can really see the color. But if you don't like all that saturation, just come to TK again, open up Preferences. This is only available on the CX and Combo panel. And see this button here says Color? And now notice you see all the language indicators here. So right now I'm in English. So if I take this button and I start to pull it back, see how these colors are getting not as saturated? Or I could take them way back, okay, and click X. And now see these buttons have hardly any color to them at all. But if you want them to stand out more, again, just come to TK and just take this slider. And for myself, I like to usually keep it the whole way up. So just slide it the whole way up. And now when we X out, you can see I have a lot of color there. But if you think that's too much, you might want to just pull it back a little bit and get it just the way you like it. See, it's not quite as strong. Now, you can only change button color on the Combo and the CX panel, not the multi-mask panel. And now for the next hidden feature. You're going to find this on the CX or Combo panel. So let's just click on TK to open up the preferences. And that is, see right here where it says Tutorials, there's free tutorials that you can get. These are PDF tutorials that Tony Kuiper has written. A lot of them are older, but they're still relevant. And all you need to do is click on Tutorials. It'll take you to this web page and just scroll down. See where it says Tutorials Catalog Free? Just click on Free, Add to Cart, and you'll be able to get these tutorials. One that I think may interest a lot of you out there, because a lot of folks like the triple play action, and this one right here, luminosity, mask, triple play, and advanced masking. So you're going to get a lot of great information about triple play there. But check out the different tutorials. Just click on Free, Add to Cart. Now this is exclusive to those who own the TK8 plugin for Photoshop. Okay, now on to the next hidden feature, and you can find this one in the CX panel, the Combo, or the multi-mask panel. All you need to do is click on TK in any one of those panels to open up Preferences. In this case, I'm going to use the multi-mask panel, and just click on Visit Tony Kuiper's website. And the reason I tell you this is because there's a contact button right here. If you have any questions or anything for Tony, you can just click on Contact and then just, put your email address in, give him a message and submit, and Tony will get back to you. But also from here, you can buy panels, click on TK8 plugin for Photoshop, go to Tony Kuiper's blog, which I highly recommend that you sign up for it. You can get to the blog by clicking right here. If you're a TK8 user or a Photoshop user, subscribe to Tony Kuiper's blog. You'll be glad you did, because it is chock full of very important information concerning Photoshop and the TK8 plugin. On to the next hidden feature, and that one deals with the My Actions panel, the new TK8 My Actions panel, which came out not that long ago. But to access the preferences with this panel, it doesn't have a TK button, but see this little hamburger menu, the flyout menu, click on that, and you're going to find out what version you have, what language you want to use. If you click here, you can go to a video tutorial about the TK8 My Actions panel, instruction PDF. You can reload the panel here, whatever you need to do. And again, to get to the preferences, just click on the flyout menu button, and there's your preferences. Moving on now to the next hidden feature, and that deals with tooltips, and I told you I would get back to this. We have our tooltips all shut off right now, but what if you want to get access to some tooltip info without having to turn the tooltips back on? On Windows computers, hold your Alt key down. On Mac computers, hold down your Option key. Hold that key down, and then you just have to come to the edge of a button, and you'll see the tooltip. You see that as I go through here? I'm holding that Option key down, and again, Alt on a PC, you can hover over any tooltip and find out information. Even if you're on, say, like the color grading tool, let's go ahead and add a color grading tool here. And if I hover over a slider holding the Alt or Option key down, it'll tell me what that slider does. And any of these buttons up here, it'll give you that information. So tooltips are all over the place. Alt or Option will get you those tooltips. And let me mention one more time, the only panel that won't give you tooltips is the My Actions panel, but every other panel does. I have 3 more hidden features to show you, and they deal with right-clicking your mouse. The first hidden feature, utilizing a right click of the mouse, is on the CX and combo panels. Do you ever have a button that you really use a lot and you would like to be able to call it out so you can really find it easy? All you have to do is, let's say you like to use the soft light and overlay blend modes. You can right click on a button and see how that gets very blue, and the same with the overlay. Or you might say, I like to use the blank pixel layer a lot. You can right click it and see how it gets green. Or then if you don't want a button to stand out as much, just right click on that button and it will not stand out. See, I can right click these 2 buttons. See, I use duplicate image a lot, so I have mine calling out to me in that bright orange. So if I right click it, it goes back to its normal color, but I'm going to right click it because I use it all the time. So that is a very handy feature, and you will find it on the CX and the combo panel. The next hidden feature for right clicking is found in Actions. So either on the combo or CX panel, click on Actions, and right now we see our actions, and we have these actions here, we have these color actions, blending actions. So if you have a favorite action and you would like to call it out, all you need to do is right click on an action. Say like you like the clarity action, right click it, and you could choose any of these colors and say, I want to make this one yellow. And now it's called out very easily. Or if I come down here and I say, I like to use the Orton effect a lot, I can right click it and maybe give it like an orange. Now you can right click again, and you can do that for any one of these actions. If you want to get rid of a call out, just click on, I think it's called theta, I'm not sure, but click this and it just removes it. Just like that. So that is for your actions. So you can call out actions as well. And that goes for the CX as well as the combo panel. And that is a really handy hidden feature. Oh, but wait, there is more. I almost forgot about the TK8 My Actions panel. We can call out actions here as well. These are the actions that we create ourselves and put in the TK8 My Actions panel. All you need to do is right click on any of the actions you've made, and you could give it a color. Like I could give this one orange. I could right click on this one, give it green. Or if I want to remove it, I can click this button right here, left click it with my mouse, remove that color. But I like to keep all my topaz actions all yellow. So Gigapixel right now is red. I'm going to right click it and let's make it yellow again. Denoise, yellow, right click Topaz Photo AI and make it yellow. So you can change any of your action colors to make them really stand out. And what I've done with mine is I have topaz in yellow, luminar in purple, and black and white is just white. And actions that deal with blurring out backgrounds, I have all in blue. So you could code those any way you like, and you'll be able to find much quicker the actions that you use all the time, your favorites. We have 2 more hidden features to go, and these deal with right clicking of your mouse. And this one is found in the web sharpening, and you'll find it on the combo or the CX panel. And I'm just going to utilize the combo panel for now, so I'm going to click on web sharpening. And this deals with presets. You see the presets up here by default, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's nothing in these presets right now. But before I can show you how to remove a preset, I have to put a preset in there. I'll just put a preset in here at 1. Now right now, you can see this is pixels for the height and the width. And right now I have 720 for the height and 1280 for the width. That's for a thumbnail that I use when I make my YouTube videos. That's the size I use. And the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. And the sharpening opacity layer is set to 50%. Now you can change any of these numbers. You can check autosave, auto close. I'm not getting into all that right now, but I'm just going to use these numbers right here and put this into a preset. Now, to put anything into a preset, all you have to do is hover over the preset, and on a Mac, hold your Command key down. On a PC, hold your Control key down and click on the preset. And then this preset dialog comes up, says preset saved. You can give it a 2-character name. Let's call this YT for YouTube, and I'll click OK. And now that says YT. And just for training purposes, let me put another preset in too. So let's change this to any old number, say like 4,000, and let's call this one 4,000. 4,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels square, 72 pixels per inch. I'll leave everything else the same. And now let's hold our Command or Control key down and click on 2. And let's just call this one, we got a highlight right here. Let's call this one BB, just for the heck of it. Click OK. And now I have a YT for YouTube and a BB, which really doesn't mean anything, but I'm just showing you what we can do here. But come up with a 2-character name that makes sense to you. So now if I want to sharpen an image for a thumbnail, I could click on YT, and you notice that goes to 720 by 1280, or BB goes to that 4,000 by 4,000. And once you get a preset and you clicked on it, you could go vertical, horizontal, or fit, whatever you want to do. Now, getting back to the hidden feature, to remove a preset, you need to right-click on the preset. And to do that, all you have to do is, let's go to BB right here, and I'm going to right-click this. And now it goes back to 2. Now that one is cleared out. And if I click on this, I'm going to get this information, preset not assigned. Do this and it tells you what to do. I'll click OK. Let's also restore the YT to its default. I'm going to left click on it, and you can see it is 720 by 1280. Now, if we right click on it, it's restored. And that means there's no preset in it. The number 1 denotes that it's back to the default number of 1. So the 1, 2, 3, and 4 are empty presets. And so remember, if you have a preset, you want to clear it, just right click on the preset. And now we come to the last hidden feature, and it deals with the color grading tool, and it deals with resetting the color grading tool. You can reset each individual tone like shadows, midtones, or highlights, or you can reset the entire color grading tool at once. But first off, let me show you a bonus tip. Anytime you have a color grading tool on a layer, you can make that layer active. So this layer is active, and we can see there's nothing on this color grading tool, but there really is. If I click on the shadow block, left click on it, you can see where the shadows are set. Or if I click on the midtone block, that's where the midtones are set. Or if I click on the highlight block, that's where the highlights are set. Or if I click on all 3 blocks right here in this button, click it and you can see where they're all set. Now you don't see where the luminosity is set, but you do see where all the color grades are at. If you want to see where the luminosities are set, you have to actually click on the button of the tone you want to see, and you can see that's where that luminosity slider is set to. But if you want to reset an individual tone, and this is the hidden feature, like for instance, if I come to shadows, click on shadows, left click it, and now if I right click it, it gets reset. Now I could do the same thing for midtones and highlights, but I want to show you how to reset the entire color grading tool at once, and if you want to start from scratch again. So let's click on the 4th block with all 3 tones in there, shadows, midtones, and highlights. So we'll left click it. And now all you have to do, and you can see where everything is set at, which is kind of nice. You can see if you have color grades on them. And then all you have to do is right click it, and the color grade tool is reset with no adjustments. And now you can start from scratch all over again. And that's the final hidden feature. Well, there it is, everyone. And next week, we're going to have Hidden Features Part 2, and we're going to start out working with the Control key on Windows or the Command key on a Mac and see what can happen with those hidden features using the Control and Command key. We'll start out there. That's going to be Part 2, so you don't want to miss it. Mark it on your calendar. Hey, if you enjoyed this Hidden Features tutorial today, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and if you're not yet a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe. Click that bell notification icon, and then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get notified. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly, and I'll see you all right here next time. But until then, happy editing!